Hey, everybody, in this episode, we discuss our recent trip to California to be able to go record with MindPump Podcast. It was an absolute blast. We talk about our experience with going out there and ultimately our experience with being with the MindPump guys for a couple of days. There's a ton of cool takeaways from this episode. And in the end, we talk about really my journey of how we were even able to accomplish this. And it just is a good testament as to what hard work can get you. So in the end, if you have any comments, questions, or concerns, you could reach us, info@realrecoverytalk.com. Enjoy the show. Here we are, Real Recovery Talk. I am your host, Tom Conrad. In today's episode, we've got Benjamin B.
What's happening, everybody?
And we got Dr. T.
Hello, everyone.
First things first, thank you for tuning in on the podcast app, whichever one that you choose to use, and thank you for watching on YouTube. In the end, if you have any comments, questions, or concerns, you could always reach us, info@realrecoverytalk.com. Again, that's info@realrecoverytalk.com, and ultimately, we want to help you turn your mess into your message, right, peeps?
C.
That's right.
Oh, man. Also, go to realrecoverytalk.com/guide. There you will find 5 steps that you could take to get your loved one the help that they need. And also go to realrecoverytalk.com/reconnect. It's our family reconnect program. In theory, it's supposed to launch August 1st, but we'll see. Should be good, but we'll see. realrecoverytalk.com/reconnect. Stevie Bucket's making a unsolicited appearance in the podcast.
I think that's every staff member.
Yep.
That's in this building.
Yeah, I need to put a locking door on that door. So, how we doing, friends?
We're good.
It's our first episode back from Cali. We got back from Cali.
Barely.
Barely, yeah. So let's do a recap on this. I think that would be a good episode. So let's see. We flew out. What'd you think of the flights out? They were okay, right?
Yeah.
No issues on the way out.
Flights out were perfect. The tailwind was behind us. We made great time.
Yep.
The rental car pickup was great.
I had a team. I wasn't alone.
Mm-hmm.
What?
And abandoned.
What?
Abandoned by you, Tom.
Oh, get out of here. Yeah, the flights out were good. Flew at approximately 36,000 feet. We'll be touching down in San Jose. Thank you for flying American Airlines. Yeah, it was good. It was kind of chilly. It was interesting, though. The temperature swing from night to day was rather
I love it.
Interesting.
I love it. I must say.
Yeah, so we all got settled down. Tambini took us to our hotel, the lovely Marriott San Jose. Expensive as all hell.
Hilton.
San Jose. Expensive as all hell.
Yeah.
And there's not even free coffee. Did you notice that?
In your room, there's not even like a little coffee maker?
That. But you know how most hotels, they have like coffee in the lobby? Mm-hmm. Yeah, no. So every morning, which was fine because it forced me, you know, the athlete that I am, always concerned with my health, having to walk to Starbucks every morning. And it was 1.2 miles. So I got a 1.2 mile walk every morning.
So 800 meters down, 800 meters back?
Yeah. Yep.
Okay.
You know, and it was interesting, you know, so first thing in the morning, you know, you're walking there and you get to see the homeless people from, you know, that are just waking up. They got the garbage bags over them and stuff like that. That was pretty interesting. But yeah, it was a fun time.
A lot of mental health there.
A lot of mental health. And then the next day, Ben and I took a train, the Cal train.
Oh yeah, I forgot about that.
I like the Caltrain.
What'd you like about it?
Those are my people.
Local people don't really ride the Caltran. My sister was like, what? They went on the Caltran?
Really? What do you mean, local people?
What would you take?
Your car?
These people don't, well, yeah. So, okay. So normal people, meaning like people that have vehicles. Mm-hmm. Listen, we were riding with like, I agree, normal people, but like, a lot of them weren't normal, you know, like,
yeah,
you know, homeless.
Yeah.
Ben and I rocking with the homeless.
Yeah.
On the way up to San Francisco.
It's an experience.
Quite the experience, yeah. I tell you what, you feel dirty all the time in California.
Really? Why?
Oh, I felt disgusting every day.
You're such a weirdo. Why?
Because everything is dirty. Everything is dirty. The Caltran or tram
Well,
or
the
train.
Caltran's dirty. I mean,
That's
any public
disgusting.
transportation is not the cleanest.
San Francisco was disgusting. Like, it smelled like urine everywhere.
Yeah, I mean, I think I've told you before, we, like, growing up in San Jose, it's so close to San Fran, but we never went to San Francisco. That wasn't like our thing to do, you know?
Yeah.
We only went up there if I had like basketball tournaments or like events, but it was very, very seldom we went to San Fran.
Yeah, because it's only 45 minutes north.
Right.
Yeah.
We usually go opposite. Like, I wanted to take you guys, we just didn't have enough time, but to go to Monterey and Carmel, that area is very nice and clean. And
Yeah, we probably should have done that, but
You know how many chicken wings you get for $18 in San Francisco?
how many?
Take a guess.
6.
6.
$3 a wing.
yeah, well, it's actually more than that. It's 18 menu price and then 6.5% sales tax on top of 6.5%.
8.5% sales tax.
Oh, 8.5% sales tax, 6.5% San Francisco mandate tax,
Wow.
and 1% food print tax. So what's that? 16% tax on chicken wings. So it's probably $21 for 6 chicken wings.
Wow.
It was wild.
Wow.
That lunch, we got a pizza that Ben and I could have
10-inch
eaten.
pepperoni.
We could have each eaten 2 of them.
Wow.
And we got the, sharing 6 wings, and we each got 2 Diet Cokes, and it was what?
Like,
$80.
Almost $80 once we tipped.
Wow.
Yeah.
I mean, regarding the homeless population, it wasn't always that bad. I mean, there's always, I think, historically homeless people in San Francisco, right? But things didn't really start getting bad until like the Google and Apple boom, like in the early 2000s. Everyone started like migrating in from everywhere, other countries, other states, to work in the tech industry. And that kind of pushed out all your like normal working class people like further and further outside, kind of probably like Atlanta, similar to what's happening now in West Palm.
You know what's interesting about San Jose? Like, they say people were leaving California. There was like nobody. I felt like it was like Walking Dead. Like, you walk out there in this huge city and all these buildings and you see nobody on the sidewalks. I'm like, where is everybody?
Yeah, that was very strange.
Did
Here in
everybody
West
leave?
Palm,
No, I don't think so. I mean, the population last time I checked in San Jose alone, and San Jose is pretty small, to be honest. It was like over 1 million people. I'm sure that's gone up now since more and more people do still go there to live.
I don't know where the hell they're living or where they go to like entertain themselves. It sure ain't downtown.
No.
I'll tell you that.
Yeah, there's not much going on downtown. Even growing up, again, we never really went to downtown San Jose. We didn't go to downtown San Jose until we were older, like to the bar scene was when we started going to downtown San Jose. But other than my mom working there growing up, we go to the Sharks games. That'd be really it.
Ben and I only really went to one little part of downtown.
Where we could walk. Tom had the best burrito of his life.
Yeah, La Victoria. Mm-hmm. Shout out to La Victoria or Victoria. Is that how you should say it?
Oh, that was scary. I don't know.
That was great. We actually ate there twice, and then Ben and I went to a Brazilian steakhouse.
That was my first experience with Brazilian steakhouse, and
It's pretty cool, right?
it was good.
It was really good.
But
And-
again,
Salty.
we're in like this 5-star restaurant with what, 30, 40 tables? There was one other table in there when we got there, and they got up and left as we were like 15 minutes into our meal. And we sat there, the only people in the restaurant, at 7 o'clock on a
Yeah.
Tuesday. I'm like, where is everybody?
Yeah, they just kept bringing out meat just to us, literally. Like,
I think too, also San Jose is now more of like a, obviously there's a lot of residents there, but a lot of people now, because they can't afford to live in San Jose and the surrounding area, they commute. So I know people who've had to move, 40 to 80 miles out, and it takes them 2 hours to commute. So they'll wake up at 3 a.m., get ready, drive 2 hours into San Jose to work, and then they haul back out like at 3 p.m. to get home by 5. And that's because the cost of living is so high. So
That's crazy.
it's a lot of commuters now.
I want to give the Caltran people some kudos, though.
Okay, go ahead.
All the people that I saw getting on there were like commuting from one city to another to work. We went like some of the people that rode out with us in the morning actually ended up coming back with us. Remember that?
Really?
Oh yeah, the one dude biffed on his bike and like, yeah, we rode.
Poor kid was bleeding everywhere.
No.
He went from where we were to.
We were at San Jose, something Duncan or something. I don't know. The station in San Jose we took up to San Francisco.
Yeah, but he went up there to ride his bike around and do delivery dudes, like, and then came back. And all these people, they were working people.
Well, so this kid rode up with us, and we took the train back. We got on like the 3:30 train in San Francisco, and Ben and I didn't know what we were doing. We're like, and so I saw this kid, and he was holding his arm. I'm like, hey, dude, you were the one that rode with us up.
Not, are you okay? Like, is your arm okay? He's
Well,
like, by the way.
No, hang on. I was like, hey, you rode up with us. I recognize your shirt. Does this train go back to San Jose? And he's like, yeah. And then I said, are you okay? And he's like, oh, he wrecked his bike over one of the train tracks or something.
Aww.
So he was taking his bike back to San Jose and having to go to the hospital or something. But he was like,
No.
got to make that money. That's what he said. Good for you, dude.
Yeah.
He didn't have any teeth, though. Young guy, no teeth. I'm thinking he might have had a heavy meth habit.
It's very possible. Meth is very, very heavy in the San Jose area.
So enough bashing San Jose. Let's get into the meat and potatoes. I would go back. I enjoyed it. It was nice. Oh, Tambini. I got to hang with Tambini and her sister for a day. You want to hear about that,
You in
Ben?
basketball.
Yeah, tell Ben about that.
So we went to Tambini's.
Well, first we went to the Santa Cruz Beach Boardwalk.
That was fun.
Oh, you went to Santa Cruz?
Yeah. We
I
went
showed Tom where I learned how to surf.
Yep, at the pier.
Was there any waves?
No, longboard waves.
Yeah.
Not shortboard waves.
Yeah, longboard waves, dude. Yeah, we went to the boardwalk, and what did we do? Tambini got us all ride passes, and then I got to ride.
Like roller coasters?
Yeah, there was two of them. They were pretty cool. Mm-hmm. Not bad for boardwalk roller coasters. What was the one that we rode? The Great Dipper.
The Giant Dipper.
The
It's
giant-
I've been there
100
before.
years old.
This roller coaster is 100 years old, and you can tell when you're riding it.
I've been there before.
You have?
You wouldn't be able to walk when you got off that thing.
My
Off your
back.
back.
I was like, my back.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so then I got to ride another roller coaster with her nephew, Hank. Mm-hmm. Yep. Oh.
What?
Oh, best part of this podcast.
What?
You know Tambini's new name, Ben?
Oh, no.
Oh.
Auntie Blum Blum.
What does that mean?
That's what my nephews call me.
Blum Blum? Where's that
Blub
from?
blub.
Blub Blub.
I thought it was because they couldn't say my name when they were little, but I guess every time I talked to my nephew Hank, who's now 12, I would do the like on Zoom or FaceTime. So now he calls me Auntie Blub Blub since he was a baby.
Oh.
There was another nickname at your aunt's that they called you.
They call me Pammy.
Pammy. Hey, Pammy. So yeah, we were at the boardwalk. We got to get a corn dog. That was it was a corn dog. You have one, you had them all.
Right.
What else? What else did we do?
We played some games.
He's
Oh,
such
yeah.
a pain. We were down at the other boardwalk in San Francisco. What's that called? The marina thing?
Oh, the Fisherman's Wharf?
Yeah. And I'm like, dude, look at that. Hot dogs and corn dogs. He's like, ugh, gross. And then I see him on Instagram the next day wolfing down a corn
Ew,
dog.
gross. First off, you wouldn't stop eating, you fatty. You're like every 2 seconds wanting to eat. I would have had no issues with you eating. but all you wanted to do was eat.
He's a hungry boy. Let the man eat.
I couldn't believe it. Like,
if I ate as much as Ben ate, I would gain 15, 20 pounds instantaneously.
yeah, no, I did gain, and I didn't eat that much. I came back and I was up 10 pounds.
I lost weight out there.
Yeah.
Sorry for the listeners. I mean, this is some important stuff that we're talking about here. So just stick with us till the end and it'll all be worth it.
More importantly, we went to my aunt's house after,
Oh, yeah.
who lives in Aptos.
Aptos. That's over the hill, Ben.
I don't know what that means.
So going over the hill in San Jose means there's this, it's called Highway 17, and you have to, it's a pretty treacherous drive through the hills.
I was getting sick.
So we call it going over the hill whenever you go back and forth between Santa Cruz and San
That's
Jose.
like a mountain, though. What I saw outside the hotel room,
Yeah.
right? That thing?
It's not a hill, it's a mountain. Yeah.
Okay.
You're driving through like
Yeah.
a big windy road.
Yeah, and Tambini isn't normally easy on the gas pedal.
I can see it.
What do you mean? I'm a good driver.
She is a good driver.
Yeah? Did you ever park with her?
No.
Okay.
Yeah.
I can park when I want to. If not, I'm like, "Arr."
Yeah. Takes up 2 spots. For sure. Definitely. So we went to our aunt's at Aptos over the hill. Very, very nice family. That was fun. Uncle Steve,
Right.
grilled hamburgers and hot dogs. He has a Traeger, which that was interesting. So we got to eat hamburgers, hot dogs, baked beans, macaroni salad.
What day was this?
This was on Thursday.
Thursday,
When did I leave? Wednesday?
Wednesday.
Yeah. And then we played a 2-on-2 basketball game. Me and
My cousin,
what's his name?
Beckett.
Beckett. Me and Beckett versus.
So you got a lot of family out there. I've heard
All
like
my family's
10
there.
different name drops.
All my family's there.
Okay.
My mom's the only one who moved here. Everyone else is there.
Oh.
So it's me and Beckett versus Tambini and Hank.
Who do you think won?
Well, you're a D1 player. Like,
Yeah, but
He didn't believe that I played
That's-
as well, and I played like a 2 out of a 10.
listen, the courts were not.
Excuses.
We were playing on she's good, don't get me wrong. She would school me on one-on-one for sure because she's in much better shape than I am, but I held my own.
I played in Birkenstocks, just so.
Yeah.
dude, it's looking bad for you here.
But you act like you spanked us. You didn't. You only won by a point.
I was allowing you guys to be in the
Get
game.
outta here.
I wanted the kids to feel like.
Yeah, right.
I also swatted Tom's layup.
She did do that. Yes, she did.
That is awesome.
She did do that.
I can see all this in my head.
Anything else about that?
No.
I'm never going back to Chinatown.
Yeah, we went to Chinatown. We don't need to talk. That was
Yeah.
Chinatown, a lot of Chinese people and ducks in the window, chicken feet.
Got the door slammed in my face.
Yeah, Ben got the door slammed in his face. We went to buy these supposedly world-renowned egg custard cups, and Ben gets up to the door and doesn't know what he wants, and there's only 3 things on the menu.
I didn't know how to order.
It's literally like a drug deal. This little old Chinese lady opens the door, and you're supposed to tell her what you want. So she opens the door, and Ben basically says, what do you have? And she just slammed the door in his face and said, when you figure it out, you tell me what you want. I open door.
Yeah. Slammed it in my face. I'm like, where's the menu? And she points at this little Post-it down by the handle. I'm like,
I see it now.
Yeah.
And they were okay. It wasn't anything great. But anyways, so the whole primary purpose that we went out there was to record with MindPump. And we did that on Tuesday. And I would say it went very well.
I was kind of in the
Anything?
zone.
What do you mean in the zone?
I don't know. It for me, I'm a perfectionist. So in my head, I'm used to being the interviewer,
Right.
not being interviewed. And you know what makes it really tough is I have all this information bouncing around in my head, and in my mind, I want to go a certain direction, but then somebody asks a question, and you're like,
taken off your thought process.
And you got to go like over here. And you got to keep in mind too that they're not necessarily substance abuse, addiction specific.
Focused, yeah.
So the audience in a way is kind of, I don't know, amateur. Is that the right word? Yeah. But
yeah, they don't know what they don't know, you know.
Asking very basic questions where for me, I want to like give you all the information. I get like overwhelmed. I'm like, oh my God.
Your brain, you want to just spit it out.
You got to know this part, this part, this part, this part. And it was, yeah. I had a tough time with that. But I think it went well.
I watched it, so I wasn't on it. But I think it went well. Like you said, they asked very general questions. And I think Tom and I talked about this before. I was nervous a little bit going into it because I'm like, well, I don't know what they're going to ask. And what if they ask us something from left field and take us off guard? But their questions were very basic. And I think you guys did a really good job in giving examples for people because people don't know surface level a lot of things about addiction. So, I think
yeah, and you can, I apologize. Me and Dr. T are both sick. Come back from California with the plague.
It's Tom's fault.
I don't think so. I got sick. I wasn't sick whenever I got back. I was sick. I started getting sick yesterday or the day before.
I started getting sick before I came home, like on Friday night.
Oh, so maybe it's your fault.
Maybe.
Anyways, I felt like they were really engaged too. Mm-hmm. Like they were, you know how you can tell, even when we're interviewing somebody, if I'm not engaged, you can probably tell because I'm over here like looking at Ben, chewing my nails or tapping my foot or whatever.
Right.
You could just tell they were like honed in. At least I don't know. I think I'll be curious to see once we watch it. But it looked like, you know, they had eye contact with us the whole time and
they did. I mean, I was watching. I think they did.
Yeah.
You know what I took away from it too is like, you know, when we talk about it on the podcast a lot of times, what's that thing that you say? Show me your friends. I'll show you. 5 friends or something. What do
You're the average of the sum of the 5 people you hang around with.
Yeah. And it just, you know, ties into like surround yourself with people that maybe they're better at a skill than you are or whatever the case is. They're masters at what they do.
Yes.
The podcast space, the
production team, this like how their schedule was, the people they surround themselves with, like their team sets them up for success.
They were very time efficient, I noticed. Like when it hit a certain time, they were like, switch, we need to do this, because they were recording before we got there. Then had like
they're on a timeline, like, listen, this is what we're doing, this is our schedule, and they stick to it, which is awesome.
Well, in my head, like I'm going out there, I'm like, oh, these guys have a podcast, they're expert trainers, you know, like probably do it like we do and just sit down at 10 a.m. and hit. They were on point.
Definitely.
Like,
well, they treat it as a business, which it is, and it's a very lucrative business. And I won't share the numbers on here, but you can listen to them.
They shared some of it.
Yeah, they did
on Instagram.
Yeah, so go follow them and do whatever to find out. I just personally don't want to share it.
No, there's no need to.
No,
but it's a very, they are very good at what they do, primarily health and fitness. But the cool thing is that, in the beginning for them, it was primarily fitness and nutrition, but now it's like more everything, mental health, spirituality, anything to do with health in any genre of health they have. And I think that's honestly one of the big reasons why they wanted us on, because, we cover the substance abuse space, and I feel like it'll engage with a lot of their listeners.
Well, if you think about it too, in their space, for instance, like you're saying, it's so much more than just picking up something heavy and putting it back down. Like in our space as well, how often do we talk about nutrition, fitness, recovery? It's not just about not picking up a drink or a drug. It's a complete lifestyle change. And it's all encompassing. And the parallels are just incredible. Because they're really good at communicating their space. And I feel like we're really good at communicating our space. And then when I'm listening to them, I'm like able to connect all these dots. And I'm like, wow, man. I'm almost, I wanted to say this, but I didn't get the chance to. The four of them in particular, it's almost as if they live their life by 12 steps already. They just don't know it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
They really do. The way that they talk about family, their principles, the way that through fitness they're helping people, that's a 12 step. Like, Sal constantly brings up spirituality and God. Like, they're talking about attachment styles with the trauma stuff, and there's just so much there.
Yeah, it's a really good resource for people. I in general had a great time. And then the following day after we recorded, they allowed me to go back. And Ben, you were flying out that day, but they were gracious enough. Shout out to Jerry. Jerry is really which we found out is, how like Melissa keeps us in check with Rock, and Tambini keeps us in check for the podcast. Mm-hmm. Jerry, that's Jerry there. You know what I mean? Like she's almost like the controller.
Yeah. Like the mother hen.
Yes,
she's
exactly.
Like, y'all need to do this, that. She schedules them, make sure they're in the right place at the right time.
Yeah. So she set it up to allow me to go back the following day and sit in on one of their recordings, which was cool, and just seeing kind of how they operate, the tech side of things, and, what equipment they're using and stuff like that, which they use a lot of the same stuff we do. The difference between them and us is they have a full-on team behind them. We don't. We have us, and, I do all the editing and stuff like that. But one of the biggest takeaways from the whole entire experience was after we were done recording, it was probably 3:30, and they finished recording. Sal did his intro, yada yada yada, and they boom, headphones off. Like, all right, I got to get out of here. And I'm like, son of a bitch, you're all gonna leave, and that And I'm like, hang on, can I just Justin had already been gone. He literally finished recording and left, and Sal and Adam were there. And I said, can I just, ask you guys some questions, before you kick me out of here? And Sal was like, yeah. And Sal was like, full transparency though, I only have 10 minutes. I got to go. I'm like, okay, cool. So I start talking about our podcast and kind of the, the vision that we have for it and stuff like that. And Sal said, whatever, gave some pointers and advice. And then he got up and left, but I got to sit there for literally an additional hour and a half, close to 2 hours with Adam. And I didn't ask him to. He was super engaged in the conversation, gave me so much good information. And at 5:15, he's like, hey dude, I got to roll. And I'm like, totally cool, man. And it was just awesome being able to sit there with him. And he's the CEO. At least I think so. I think I heard him say that. But you know what? They have such a cool dynamic that they all know what they're good at. Mm-hmm. And that's that. And they stay within their wheelhouse, and they stay within the things that they're good at. They have Jerry that coordinates everything. They have the team, all the editors, and, Dylan and Kyle and stuff, all Andrew, all these names that I've been hearing on the podcast for years and years and years. Going out and actually getting to sit with them and record with them and kind of see the behind the scenes stuff is pretty cool.
It's important for people to know their role and what they're good at. We used to talk about, we did Sandler training, leadership training. And one of the things that I'll never forget is okay, yes, you belong on the bus, but then there's also the question, are you in the right seat on the bus? You remember all that stuff?
Yeah.
And just don't pretend to be good at something you're not. Let the people that are good at it do their thing, Right. Don't be a control freak.
Yeah. Yeah, so all in all, good experience. I think the episode is going to go out. They said 3 to 4 weeks. Sal is waiting for us, and we'll discuss this after we're done recording, but they're waiting for us in terms of offers, for them to share on their podcast. And I'm excited to see what it does. For us, I think that I did ask them when we were done, and the next day, what did you guys think? They said couldn't have gone better. They thought it went very well. And I genuinely believe them. I think we covered everything that we needed to. And who knows? Maybe we'll go on again some other day. It really is going to. I already know what you want to bring up.
What do I want to bring up, Tom?
That you cried.
You claimed the
You
best
both
part
cried.
I didn't cry.
You cried.
I would admit I cried.
You cried.
I did.
You both did.
I teared up. Yeah.
Tom took a long pause and a gasp.
I had to. See, here's the thing. Little known fact about me. When I cry, it's not like a whimper.
Yeah.
Like I'll go full on, like
Because you never cry.
Right. But so I'm like literally like, oh my, and it kind of came out of nowhere.
It did, I must say.
Well, you know what they were talking about. I think what led up to it was Ben was talking about like one of the most impactful things that happened in his sobriety, which obviously was getting to adopt Kai and like where you were from having your kids taken from you and then adopting a kid, yada, yada, yada. And then it came to me, and then I brought up, how I was able to get my sister into treatment after not meeting her for 20 years. And so, it was a lot of emotion. And that coupled with, I'm like literally at MindPump, there was a very emotional experience, and yeah, so it happened. But you know what? That's okay, Ben. We're men, and men are supposed to show our feelings too.
I've never argued that, Tom. I was just super impressed that you cried.
Yeah, so, there's going to be a lot of people that see that.
Yeah. Actually, Tom asked them to delete it after.
No, I did not delete it
right now.
I didn't hear
that. I didn't hear that.
Yes, you did. You were like, hey, could you cut that out? And
no,
so I was like,
I said,
no, that's we're going to leave that. That's
no,
perfect.
that's not how it went.
Yes, it did. Dude.
You weren't even there, first off.
He was there.
Not the second day.
Oh, okay.
I didn't say that. I said to you, I wonder if I should ask them to cut that out. And you're like, no, you can't ask them to cut that out. That's important. People need to see it, yada, yada, yada. And I was okay. But the next day when I went in and it was just me, I said, guys, I mean, do you think it's good if that's in there? And they were like, yes, for sure. And I'm like, okay, we'll keep it in, which it's
Bro,
good.
you literally said something before we even stood up from recording.
I didn't ask him to cut it out.
You were blacked out.
Yeah, you're on that emotional high.
Yeah.
So anyways.
Drowning in your tears.
Anything else? It's a good, this is episode 400 for us.
Oh, I forgot about that.
That's crazy.
Episode 400. 400. How would you say that in Spanish? That's what I was trying to figure out. Ben, our resident Mexican.
Cuatro cien?
I have no idea.
Something like that. Cien is 100, and you put the cuatro in front? I don't know, man. My last name's Bueno, but that doesn't qualify me.
Yeah, sorry, and Ben's not Mexican. Or are you?
He is.
Yeah, you are Mexican. See, that wasn't
According
racist.
to, what's that thing you do with the
Ancestry?
DNA? Ancestry.com. My ancestry is from Chihuahua, Mexico.
You know who just bought Ancestry.com?
Who?
BlackRock.
I saw that.
What?
Yep.
They were like, people were posting like, good thing I didn't, put my DNA on that.
Oh, this is great. Yes, BlackRock bought your DNA.
They're going to clone you.
Yeah, there you go.
He's so mad right now.
Mr. Prepper over here,
That's all right. That's all right.
So,
Can't take it back now.
I know.
all right, we'll make sure that everybody knows when that episode goes live. Obviously, they're going to send us clips and stuff to share and stuff like that. But like I said, I imagine it'll be in the next 3 to 4 weeks. And
Let me ask you a question.
you always do this. Right when I'm wrapping stuff up.
I
You
know,
always
but
wanna
it's
ask.
our 400th episode.
Oh, yeah, that's right. Go ahead.
So, out of 400 episodes in this journey of podcasting, what would you say has been the most pivotal moment or memory or, I don't know, overall?
Of the podcast?
Yeah, just this entire thing. Like if you had to sum it up.
It just happened. Going
No.
on Mind Pump.
I got you.
That's dude. And I talked about this on the podcast 5 years ago. I remember telling Amanda one day I'll go on their podcast, and it happened. The one thing that I will tell you this experience gave me, it helps me understand that there's not a relationship that I can't attain in some capacity. It just takes work. It takes effort, and you have to go about it in an appropriate manner. And I even talked to them afterwards, Doug. We got to talking about those sorts of things. And he told me, he was like, you know how many times we get requests from people that want to come on the podcast? And he's like, every day, emails loaded, people requesting to come on the podcast. And he's like, we do none. And you can go look at their whole catalog of podcasts, not many interviews. For, the reason of, most people, and we even get this on a much smaller scale. I can go on right now and show you 30 people asking to come on our podcast.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, you're asking me to get married and we didn't even go on a date yet.
Right.
Invite us on your podcast. If you want to come on ours, invite us on yours. Mm-hmm. And that's what we did. We invited Sal on. It started with, you have to go through the courting stage. I get it. Sent, some goodies and stuff over the past year, and took the trek up to Orlando because I knew that they were going to Orlando for Mr. Olympia.
But only Sal went there, right? Or did they all go?
No, they all went.
Oh, okay.
And I knew they were going, so I told Levi, get in the car. We're going to Orlando. Where are we going, Dad? We're going to the Olympia. What's that? A bunch of men standing around in thongs.
Flexing their muscles at you, bud.
So we get up there, and I knew they were going to be at the Transcend booth. And I saw them and went up and just started talking to them, and by that point, I had already referenced them a few times in the podcast and like made some clips and reels and tagged them in it. So Adam had already known who I was just from that. And then they got to put a face to a name, yada, yada, yada. And then out of the blue, Sal said, if you ever want somebody to come on your show, let me know. And I'm like, what? Mm-hmm. And so that kind of started the process, and emailing back and forth with Jerry and everybody. And then, and then we went and met Sal in Orlando again for the NCI convention, did that. And 5 minutes after we were done with that, he invited us on.
So here's the thing, Tom. I'm glad that I interrupted you, and I'm glad that I always do that, because here's what just happened.
Okay.
We just tidied that thing up with a bow. Think about this. This whole episode, at the end of the day, what I'm hearing is, if you put your mind to something, you can accomplish it. How long did it take to get on Mind Pump? A year and a half?
Probably.
Yeah. A year and a half. And I watched him do all this stuff. And he dragged me along for a lot of it. I probably wasn't going to Orlando. You had to literally convince me. I'm not like a ghost places people person. But there we go. And I'm in my head oh, here we go. And little step by step by step. Honestly,
yeah.
You put your mind to it, you got it done. Don't give up. A year and a half is a long. If you walk up to most people and say you're going to have to put in a year and a half effort to get on a show for an hour and a half, would most people do it?
No.
Probably not.
No.
You know what I'm saying? But gifts of recovery.
Yep. Got to put in the reps, Ben.
Mm-hmm.
So, well, happy 400th episode, guys.
Happy 400 to you guys.
On the 400th episode, Ben gave to me.
What did I do?
Ben gave to me.
A compliment?
Yeah.
That was a compliment.
Are we done?
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. That is it for this episode of Real Recovery Talk. Thank you for tuning in. In the end, if you have any comments, questions, or concerns, you could always reach us, info@realrecoverytalk.com. Again, that's info@realrecoverytalk.com. And ultimately, we want to help you turn your mess into your message. That is it. We will see y'all later.